Hi everyone, welcome to the Dreamverse, where we just tell funny stories about dreams that I have. It's just weird that my dreams are sometimes very interesting, and I think they're very worthwhile to actually tell. So if you enjoy fascinating, sometimes wholesome, sometimes earth-shattering stories, stick around. So this one I find quite wholesome. So this dream starts off with me and my family, like even my grandparents, being in this park-like setting. It's this kind of town area where there are buildings, restaurants, and people sitting there, but we're on the grass hill on the other side, just relaxing, having a good time. And our dog is off her leash. And she's not great with those kinds of things, so she runs away. And we run after her. And I tell my family to stop running after her, let just one person do that. Otherwise, she'll just keep running and running and running. She'll think it's a game and that she is supposed to keep running. They didn't listen, they just kept running. And it just kept getting harder to catch her. Okay, and I don't know if I should mention this, but okay, my subconscious is weird and dreams linked to your subconscious. But because this is a restaurant area and all of us were eating, and they were just running, because of that, they threw up. Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything else. They didn't want to listen to me. That is the consequences of their actions. They ran. They got the consequences. So long story short, I got our dog. I took her all the way back through all these people where we were walking. But as I was weaving through all these restaurants that were outside, I had to tell everyone to not touch the dog. They just wanted to keep petting her. And again, your subconscious is weird. And I think because of what happened when they ran with their full stomachs, this vomiting kind of triggered, I don't know, again, subconscious. Things are weird. It triggered this kind of disease that was spreading or something along those lines. I told everyone not to touch the dog because they would be spreading a disease. Kind of like a pandemic. So clearly this is not the wholesome part of the dream, I know. And because dreams are weird, the dream changed at this point. There was kind of a crossroads. One that I took along the way here with all the restaurants and another one. So I decided to take the other one. Hopefully it would have less people that were trying to touch my dog. So she turned into a 3 or 4-year-old kid instead of a dog, okay? And on this road that I was taking, there were fences on both sides of us. It was no longer this restaurant area, but there were fences and we were kind of on a hill. And the only way to get past here was this jungle gym. I saw that she was hesitant to go on that because I thought that a 3 or 4-year-old kid would like to go on the jungle gym. It's a fun obstacle to go over to get to our destination. But no, I instinctively knew that this was somehow traumatic for her. There's something that happened in the past that made her not want to go on the jungle gym. This was the only road, and I couldn't find any alternatives because I totally forgot about the other side of the crossroads. This was where we were now. There was no other way to get past. So instead of going over this jungle gym, I thought of maybe finding a gap in the fence, or because the fence was rather low and we were on a hill, jumping over the fence and then rolling down the hill. And the thing is, I was just trying to do this to comfort this child. I was trying to do what I thought would be most helpful if I was in her situation, because I don't know how she feels about the jungle gym, how scared she really is, because trauma doesn't have to be this big thing about maybe just going to war. There are lots more things that could be traumatic to you. It's about how your brain perceives the situation. So I can't force her to do this and relive this experience. And obviously this was a child in my dream, but I don't think it represented a real child, because you can get meanings from your dreams, kind of messages. I don't think this was representing a real child. I think it was more a representation of my own childhood and trying to comfort my childhood self, not making her do something against her own will. Like, if you're super scared of something, I won't make you do it. I think this is the interesting part about telling my dreams. Just also not just telling the funny story, but explaining the message behind it as well. Because dreams can sometimes be silly and very funny on the surface level. But beneath it, because it is so intertwined with your subconscious, there's a hidden meaning there that you can relate back to your own life. And I'll make a whole video about this, but you can relate dreams back to your own life and find messages in it to help you in your own life. I can't tell you what your dreams necessarily mean because it's very personal and all about your experience, and nobody knows that better than you. And as I'm telling this, it kind of reminds me of a novel I read. Just wait a second. It's literally right here. It's called The Forgetting Time. I'm not going to spoil most of it, but from the back of the book, you can infer that it's about reincarnation. I'm not going to talk about my personal views on that, but in it, this boy is super afraid of water. His mom struggles to bathe him because he's just so afraid of it. But in his previous life, again, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's suspected that he died by drowning. They kind of theorize, again, this is just a fictional book. They theorize that he had this fear, this phobia of water, because of how he died in his previous life. So, yeah, I don't know. It has nothing to do with this dream except that it reminded me of fears and phobias and not forcing your child to do something that they're super scared of. The only thing I can link with my own childhood with a jungle gym is when I was 6 years old, I was playing in the jungle gym and there was this bee. At that point, I had never gotten stung by a bee ever, and I thought at that moment it was going to sting me. So I was doing everything in my power to get away from it. I was so scared. I went to the other side where there was a slide, but there were boys playing on that, and I told them to go down, just go down, slide down, I want to get down. They didn't listen to me. So my only other way to escape the bee was to go down the ladder. And because I was so terrified, I was doing it as fast as possible. And as I was doing that, my hand slipped and I fell off the jungle gym. Now, I never had a phobia of jungle gyms. I was still scared of bees, kind of. See, dreams aren't that literal. I'm not scared of jungle gyms. It doesn't represent my childhood in that way. But it maybe still has something to do with needing to comfort my childhood self. Just maybe not with a jungle gym. I don't know. I just thought that it was quite wholesome, this message of respecting a child's fear and understanding that it is legitimate even if you don't understand it. I just thought I wanted to share that with you. I'm gonna make that video about messages in dreams and it linking to your subconscious very soon. So stay tuned for that. Bye, and see you next time.